Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Thursday, June 11th, 2026. Today we'll recap the absolute classic Game 4 of the NBA Finals, and then we'll do some baseball, WA, FIFA, and the other soccer. We also have the Stanley Cup Final, Game 5 tonight from Raleigh, golf on this day, news and notes, and best bet. The NBA Finals is where to start. The New York Knicks do it again. They pull off the comeback of the ages. Down 29, biggest comeback in NBA playoff history, with a 106 win over the Spurs to take a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals. The Spurs started off that game on fire. They're up 27 at halftime. Devin Vassell was shooting the lights out. Victor Wembanyama was the best player on the court. Karl Anthony Towns was in foul trouble. A lot of other guys on the Knicks just stunk. There were bad calls. Their defense stunk. But it all flipped in the second half. Stephon Castle got 4 fouls, and then all of a sudden, Brunson got going. And then they called a flagrant on Victor Wembanyama for taking an elbow at Karl Anthony Towns, and that kind of changed the game for the Knicks. And they had 2 big runs. They got within 15 going into the fourth quarter. Then you're thinking, like, oh, is this really going to happen again? And then they're up 18 in the fourth, and then they come back. It's a 4-point game with 5 minutes left. OG Anunoby had a bang 3 to get it within 4. Brunson hits a 3, gets it within 1. Wemby misses 2 free throws. Knicks take the lead on a Brunson shot. And then the Spurs, there was a foul, and then, was it Castle that hit both free throws? Yes. It was Castle that hit both free throws. And then Brunson misses a shot. Spurs get the ball. Oh, in the midst of all that, before Brunson hit that go-ahead shot, Josh Hart missed a layup, which we'll talk about in a second. So Brunson turns the ball over on the one end, and De'Aaron Fox gets the ball, but he goes for the layup. OG Anunoby blocks it from behind. It looks like OG fouled him, but he didn't. They didn't call it. So be it. So the Knicks run back to the court. Brunson tries a 30-footer over Wembanyama. Looked like a good shot, and then it was short. And then OG Anunoby with the putback of a lifetime. Knicks take a 107-106 lead. And the rest is fucking history. And now the New York Knicks are 1 win away from their first title in 53 years. It was the greatest sporting event in my lifetime as a Knicks fan. Certainly, the only thing you could argue with it is the David Tyree catch. The Yankees in 2009 didn't have a special moment like this. I mean, the Mario Manningham catch was nice, but it wasn't as crazy as the Tyree catch. But this OG putback, the tip-in, was a shot that nobody will forget. That everyone's going to have different angles of that shot. It's going to be a poster on young kids' walls in their bedrooms. People are going to be naming their kids after OG and Brunson too. And now the Knicks have one more game to go. It is not done yet. They just have to win one more time to get it done. And they can finish the Spurs off on Saturday night in San Antonio. And it's going to be crazy. Meanwhile, the Spurs, they've been a part of so many bad losses in their franchise playoff history. This is the worst. You blew a 29-point lead. You had the best player on the court. You shot the lights out in the first half, and you only have 8 field goals in the second half altogether. That's credit to the Knicks defense, of course. But Mitch Johnson, could this force Greg Popovich to come out of retirement and coach again? I think that conversation has to be had after a game like this. But I don't think they would do that because they're going to point to a lot of things without, and like Castle with the fourth foul, yada yada. But maybe. You never know if Popovich is coaching them next year. I think it's in play, especially after that. Wemby, the biggest star on the team, I think needs to be held accountable here. He missed those 2 big free throws, and Karl-Anthony Towns kind of outplayed him in the second half of that game. And obviously Fox, who should have just dribbled the ball out waiting to get fouled, instead he goes for that layup and OG blocks it. He deserves blame. Castle, foul trouble. Vassell is cooled off. So the Knicks made some defensive adjustments, so that's kind of credit to the Knicks. But wow. Saturday night's going to be electric. And I'm looking forward to it. And we'll preview and pick that game on the podcast tomorrow. All right, baseball. We'll go over the results from yesterday, and we have some results today, and we have only 3 games left on the board for today. For yesterday's results, Rays over the Red Sox 7-5, Yankees over the Guardians 8-4, Giants over the Nets 11-10, Padres over the Reds 5-4, O's over the Mariners 7-2, Marlins over the D-backs 8-0, Pirates over the Dodgers 9-8, Twins over the Tigers 6-4, Phillies over the Jays 7-4, Cardinals over the Mets 9-2, White Sox over the Braves 2-1. As they're in first place in the AL Central now. Rangers over the Royals 6-4. In 10, the Cubs over the Rockies, or vice versa, Rockies over the Cubs 6-2. The A's over the Brewers 4-3, so that under hit easily. And the Angels over the Astros 3-2 in 10 on a walk-off hit by Jose Siri. So now we'll move on to today. We have a couple of finals. Marlins over the Mets 2-0. Tigers over the Twins 11-0. Mets over the Cardinals 5-4. So Mets with the big win. Going on now. Cubs up 6-2 over the Rockies, the game they desperately need. Rangers up 1-0 on the Royals right now. We have 3 more games left tonight. 6:40 Dodgers Pirates. Justin Warbelski and Mitch Keller. So I'm sure the Dodgers are favored. Yes, minus 174. The Pirates are plus 146, over under 9.5. Overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Dodgers minus 1.5 and Pirates plus 1.5 minus 110. I'm going to lay the 1.5 with the Dodgers. Warbelski's the better pitcher. Dodgers the better team. 7 o'clock on ESPN, Mariners Orioles. So we got the ESPN with a baseball game tonight. Brian Wu and Kyle Bradish. Mariners minus 110, O's minus 106, over under 8.5, overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Mariners minus 1.5 plus 150, O's plus 1.5 minus 182. We're going to go with the over on that one. And then last but not least, 7:30 Braves White Sox. Martin Perez and Anthony Kay. The Braves are minus 116, the White Sox minus 102, over under 8.5, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Braves minus 1.5 plus 46, White Sox plus 1.5 minus 176. I'm going to take the Braves here at minus 116. All right, so there you have it for baseball. Now we'll move on to the WNBA. We have Commissioner's Cup going on. Tempo over the Sun, 106-102 in OT. And the Sparks over the Storm, 88-83. So best bet hit. I took Seattle getting the points, and I thought that was too many. We have a couple of games today. We have 4. 7 o'clock on Prime Video, Sky Fever. The Fever giving a whopping 9.5, totals 172.5. I'm going to go with the under. I think that's a high total. 7:30 Liberty Dream the Dreamer giving 3.5 totals, 164.5. I'm going to lay with the Dream, the Liberty. Sabrina's not back yet, so I'm going to lay the points. 9 o'clock on Prime Video, Mercury Wings. The Wings are giving 6.5 totals, 169.5. I'm going to go with the over. I think that's a low total. And last but not least, 10 o'clock, the Aces and the Fire. The Aces are giving whopping 10.5 totals, 170.5. I think that number's high. I'm going to take Portland getting 10.5. All right, today started the FIFA World Cup. We'll talk about that really quickly. FIFA World Cup podcast. I preview and picked that, so check it out. So going on right now is Mexico, South Africa in Group A, as Mexico has a 2-0 lead. That's on Fox. On Fox Sports 1 tonight at 10 o'clock is South Korea and Czechia. South Korea is plus 165, Czechia is plus 90. The draw is 2-1. I don't feel good about it, but I'm going to go with the draw at 2-1 based on how this is lined up. And then I'm going to pick the 3 o'clock game. Am I going to do it now? The 2 Group B games now, or are we going to do it on tomorrow's show? I'll pick the 3 o'clock game now just in case, but if I come back and record before 3 tomorrow, then I'll just give it out again. So, Group B tomorrow, Canada and Bosnia Hers. Canada's minus 125. Bosnia's plus 360. The draw's plus 250. I think Canada wins. I'm going to go over 2.5 goals, though, at plus 118. All right, so there you have it for World Cup. Now I want to touch on some other soccer. Really quickly. So, from yesterday, USL Tampa, Charleston 2-12, Detroit, El Paso 1-1 draw, Monterrey Bay over Sporting Jacks 2-1, Louisville over Phoenix 2-0, League One Westchester, Fort Wayne 1-1 draw, Charlotte over Union Omaha 2-0, Athletic Club over Richmond 2-1, and AV Alta over Sarasota 3-1, USL Cup, Greenville over Loudoun 3-1, and Knoxville Chattanooga 1-1 draw. Knoxville wins 5-4 on penalties. And then nothing's going on tomorrow of importance. So we'll hold off on soccer. Stanley Cup Final, Game 5 tonight from Raleigh. You have the Hurricanes and the Golden Knights. It's been a great series. 8 o'clock ABC tonight. Sean McDonough, Ray Ferraro on the call with Emily Kaplan. Carolina's minus 154. Vegas is plus 128. Over under 6.5. Over is plus 108. Under is minus 132. Vegas plus 1.5 minus 205. Hurricanes minus 1.5 plus 164. I'm going to take Vegas at plus 128. They got their bad game in the series out of the way, and quite frankly, it was 5-3, and the last goal was an empty net. I think they bounce back on the road. I picked Vegas in 6. I'm going to continue with the pick. So I'm going to take Vegas at plus 128 over the Hurricanes. Okay, now move on to golf. We'll go over the current leaderboard for the RBC Canada Open. Okay. Alone on top with 6 under is Sahith Thiglia. Tied for second, 5 under, Sam Ryder, Tony Finau, Ricky Castillo, Bryce Cornett, Adam Svensson, David Skins, Jimmy Stranger, Emiliano Grillo, Sam Burns. Tied for 11th at 4 under, Danny Willett, Matt Wallace, Max McGreevy, Billy Horschel, Taylor Pendrith, Vince Whaley, Eric Van Rooyen, Eric Cole, Nick Taylor, Ryan Fox, Shane Lowry, Trace Coe, Dawson Liu. Tied for 24th at 3 under, Keith Mitchell, Matthias Schmid, Gary Kigo, Tommy Fleetwood, Matt Fitzpatrick, Taylor Moore, Matthew Pavant, Daniel Brown, Christian Ziedenhout, Brooks Koepka, Jonathan Vegas, Doug Gim, David Lipsky, Jackson Suber, Ben James, Neil Shipley. Tied for 41st with 2 under. Ben Silverman, Dylan Wu, Roger Sloan, Takumi Kanaya, William Mao, Victor Hovland, Davis Thompson, Camilo Vegas, Lonzo Griffin, Bayo Hostler, Eric Zhao, Ricky Hoey, Cam Davis, Adam Shank, Wyndham Clark, Harry Hall, Aldrich Pottinger, Kevin Yu, Tom Kim, Chandler Blanket, Justin Matthews, Matthew Anderson, Jesper Svensson, Paul Peterson, Drew Nesbitt. Tied for 66 with 1 under. Mac Meisner, Pino Malnati, Aaron Ray, Carl Vilps, Sudarshan Majaro, Lucas Glover, Bud Coley, Denny McCarthy, Max Kreisman, Zach Pinchot, Joey Savoy, Kensei Harada, AJ Ewart, Luke Clanton, Chris Ventura, Chad Ramey, Mike Weir, Chandler Phillips, Christopher Rattain, Max Homo, Robert McIntyre, Joel Dahman, Ben Coles, Jordan Smith, Austin Eckrow, Vince Cavello, Chris Joe Lamprecht, and Patrick Fishburne. Tied for 95th at even. Patton Kazir, Kevin Roy, Hank Lebioda, Justin Rose, Colin Morikawa, Michael Brennan, Joe Highsmith, Jacob Bridgman, Austin McCulloch, Kalen Sanderson, Adam Hadwin, Tom Hogue, Mackenzie Hughes, Alex Lorenz, Stephen Fisk, Alex Fitzpatrick Davis, Riley Nikolai Hojard, Declan O'Donovan, Hatung Lee, Alejandro Tassi, Sean O'Hare, Jeremy Paul. Tie for 117th with 1 over. Justin Lauer, Austin Smotherman, Rafael Campos, Corey Connors, Chris Kirkcliffe, Jordan Ollison, Laurent DeMarchis, Hayden Springer, Stevens Power, Michael Tim Jordan, John Perry, Marcelo Rozo, Keita Nakajima, Rasmus Najar Peterson, and Javon Sahota. Tie for 132nd with 2 over. Lee Hodges, Chung Du, Padraig Harrington, Adrian DeMonte Chazer, Davis Chatfield, Stefan Yeager, Pontus Nyholm, Ben Martin, Andrew Putnam, Brian Campbell, John Vanderlaan. Tied for 143rd with 4 over. Danny Walker and Johan Benson. 145th, 5 over. Nick Dunlap. 146, 6 over. Charlie Hoffman. And withdrawing was Paul Waring. All right, so there you have it for golf. Now we'll move on to On This Day, brought to you by All Sports News. We all know what the On This Day for June 10th next year is going to be. Knicks win Game 4 in NBA Finals and dramatic comeback. Okay, so 2017, the Pittsburgh Penguins won the Stanley Cup Final. They beat who that year? The Sharks was the first year. The second year, was it the Predators? I think so. And in 18 was, yes. And in 18 was Capitals Vegas. 2013, Pittsburgh Pirates call up Garrett Cole. 2022, the Lightning advanced to the Stanley Cup Final. 2019, Grizzlies hire Taylor Jenkins. 2018, Pistons fire Dwayne Casey from the Raptors. 2017, Rafael Nadal wins the French Open. 2023, Novak Djokovic wins the French Open. 2013, Dodgers Diamondback engaged in major brawl. I remember Yasiel Puig was involved in that. 2018, Cowboys extend Zach Martin. 2025, Kel McCarr wins the Norris Trophy. 2015, Eagles release Evan Mathis. And the Warriors even the NBA Finals at 2 over the Cleveland Cavaliers. So there you have it for On This Day. Now I'll move on to the news and notes. Aroldis Chapman calls out Brian Cashman. He says he wants Cashman to apologize ahead of potential reunion amid trade rumors. I do not want Aroldis Chapman back on the Yankees. Absolutely fucking not. He was awful. In his second tenure at the Yankees, he just came up short in so many spots that we don't want him back. Go mess up somebody else's World Series dreams. Go to the Dodgers. They'd gladly take you. On paper, that makes sense. Him on the Dodgers because they lost Edwin Diaz for the year. Caleb Lynn is quote on Bears moves. He says he's focused on what he can control. I'm going to play wherever there's 120 by 53 and a third yards, and it's marked up with white lines and 2 end zones. I'm okay with whatever decision they make is whatever decision they make. The President of Manhattan honors OG Anunoby as he declares new appreciation holiday for OG, which is awesome. Josh Hart thanks OG Anunoby, says the heroic tip and saved him. I brought up the missed layup. That would have been Charles Smith 2.0 had the Knicks lost that game. So Monica McNutt was caught on a hot mic talking about Taylor Swift and questioning her Knicks fandom. And they caught her on the mic. This is fucking funny. Is that Taylor Swift? She's not a Knicks fan. Get out of here. That was a funny one. But she apologized because I'm sure she took a lot of shit from the Swifties and Travis Kelce. But yeah, she was at a game in 2014. And the funny thing is she had a blue shirt on in orange writing, Stevie Nicks. And Nicks spelled K-N-I-C-K-S. There's talk about OG Anunoby with the block on Fox. And whether that was a foul. And OG Anunoby says it feels cool. Everyone's pretty excited. I am too. He's gonna be even more excited on Saturday night if they win. Jalen Brunson gives OG Anunoby his flowers, calling him a superstar. Jay Wright had a moment with Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson. There are Knicks fans that are ridiculous, throwing eggs at Victor Wembanyama after the game at a hotel, which is not nice. They're just petty and jealous. And people rip the Spurs collapse as they are being showed their inexperience on the big stage. Yeah. But yeah, it was 76-49 at halftime. 41-22 after one. And after that first quarter, the Spurs were actually favored in the series. And of course, MSG cheered for Taylor Swift. James Dolan trolled the Spurs halftime as he was not feeling their halftime entertainment. And then Dolan also decided to cancel the MSG watch party, and that was according to the mayor of New York City. The Phillies and the White Sox made a trade as the Phillies are acquiring Derek Hill in a trade in exchange for 2 prospects. Phil Mickelson kicked out of San Diego club for inappropriate contact with a female employee. Yikes. That's not great at all. But he only played once this year because of a serious family health matter that has not been disclosed. And he's not expected for the U.S. Open next week. So Mourinho is back with Real Madrid as he's back after 13 years. Torino Nurse requests a trade from the Edmonton Oilers. This was rumored. So we'll see what happens. Red Sox CEO Sam Kennedy rips the team season. He made it clear he's not happy. The San Francisco Giants came back from 9-1 down to beat the Nats. Bryce Eldridge hit the walk-off. The Broncos extend Sean Payton to a 5-year deal. LeBron is curious about the Warriors. It's up in the air, but mostly up to LeBron. I honestly think he's going back to the Lakers. USC's hiring the director of AI is Connor McQuiston to operate first known position of its kind. Wemby on the collapse? It just hurts. Garrett Crochet has a significant injury as he admits that his lat strain is a lot worse than we thought. Tariq Skubal back on Saturday against the Guardians. That's a big deal. Chris Olave out for Saints OTAs as Kellen Moore says that the blood clot suffered in 2025 season is related to absence. So, Ian Rappaport just said nearly 5 years after a drunken driving crash that killed a woman and her dog in Las Vegas, Henry Ruggs was denied parole. Okay, so there you have it for the news and notes. Best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. I'm going to go back to the W, and I'm going to lay the 3.5 with the Dream against Liberty. I just don't love what I've seen from Liberty. They got blown out at home a few times, and the Atlanta Dream are a team on a mission right now. So I'm going to lay the 3.5 with the Atlanta Dream against Liberty for my best bet of the day. So there you have it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything, look at everything tomorrow on the weekend, and we'll pick Game 5 of the NBA Finals as well. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, everyone.